I did well. I was making money. It was probably the first time in my life I've actually made a little bit of money. The downside to it is I couldn't live my life. I was there 9 to 9, 5 to 6 days a week. The sad part about it is I'd work 50 weeks out of the year just to get 2 weeks off.
How much do you make on a car sale?
Anywhere from $50 to $500.
Oh, wow.
My average profit on Amazon is $15 an item.
What's your average profit on a land deal these days?
It's right around 30 grand.
That's a little bit of a difference.
It's a little bit of difference.
Yeah. Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Jack Bosch Show, where we talk about all things real estate finance, and in today's show, in particularly land. I got a great friend of us, actually one of our former students, now coaches, not just coach, one of our two head coaches, Aaron Willams, with us, and we're going to talk about his business. He's done over 500 deals. He's doing deals in an hour a day, right? He works in his business in an hour a day, doing how many deals do you do per year, Aaron?
Oh, I average between 30 and 50 deals a year. I've been doing that since 2012.
All right, yep. Very, very cool. So again, we're going to talk about land deals. We're going to talk about how to do 30 to 50 deals a year within an hour a day, how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of that. And hey, let's get started. So Aaron, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's 81 degrees. It's great weather. It's warm. I'm coming from a cold environment, so I feel like I'm on vacation.
All right. So Aaron is actually with us here from
Rhode Island.
Yep. Rhode Island. And obviously we're in Arizona. It's, by the time when we're recording this, it's April. It's the best month of the year to be in Arizona. Again, it's like 75 to 85 degrees, sunshine, beautiful. In the evenings, it's now not cold anymore. Anyway, that's if you ever consider coming to Arizona, this is the time to come. So with that said, Aaron, you're obviously now doing land deals for 12 years already. You've done well over 500 land deals, made, may I say, multiple millions of dollars, right?
We've made a few bucks.
Made
Absolutely.
a few bucks, that's right. And you also coach with us. Transformational, great to hear. You also coach with us. You're actually one of our head coaches. But let's start with your story. So first of all, give us a quick rundown of who you are, what brought you to land, what's your background, before we dive a little deeper.
All right, so my story is I live in Rhode Island. I grew up in a foster home. So I'm not confident. When I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of training. I didn't have someone to teach me how to make an income. I didn't know about the job market. They don't teach you this stuff in high school and, in college.
Yeah.
So it was a hard upbringing, but I went from that to the regular Army because I just wanted a place to live. At 18 years old, I had to leave the foster home, which was, it is what it is. So I went to the regular Army because that was my way of going to college, because that's what they say.
How many years did you stay in the Army?
I was 2 years full-time, 4 years National Guard. I did heavy equipment operator because that was a job I felt after the Army I could do as a civilian. So
afterwards, yeah?
Yep, so that's kind of what I did. I came home and I did college. But they said they would pay for college, but they didn't tell me they're going to pay my rent. So I had a hard time going through college because I still had to make it on my own.
What did you study?
I studied computer engineering.
Okay.
So I still had to make it on my own. They did pay for college, but I had a really, really hard time of actually making a living. So I didn't really have a big job history after the regular Army. But at the third year point, I ran out of money. I couldn't finish the fourth year. So what I did at that point was I'm reading the paper, and it was amazing. I saw an ad, make $100,000 a year, no job experience. And that's exactly what I had, no job experience. So that was the car business. That was my introduction to the car business. So I spent 10 years.
So car sales.
Yep,
yeah.
The car sales. I spent 10 years selling cars on the car lot.
New cars or used cars or both?
I started with new cars.
Okay.
It's new cars I worked
What's
at.
What's easier, new cars or all used cars?
New cars is easier. You make more cars with used cars.
Okay.
Make more money with used cars. I started at a dealership called Jack Madden Ford, located on Route 1 in Norwood. One of the largest, I didn't know this at the time, one of the largest dealerships in the country.
Oh, wow.
Which was unbelievable because I'm like, gee, I wasn't used to all the, 50 sales guys running around on the floor and thousands of cars. So I was literally put into this just chaos. So I started a job. I did it for 10 years. I studied everything I would find out about sales, how to sell things. And, I did well. I made one of my top years. I made about 180 grand a year.
Wow. So you became the top sales guy there?
Yeah, I was top 1% in the country, actually.
Oh, wow.
I actually won a Ford pickup truck.
All right.
Yeah, I don't talk about it that much, but I won a Ford pickup truck. And I just remember my boss.
A new or used one?
A new one. My boss
good.
called me on my day off, and he says, hey, you won a Ford pickup truck. You won the contest. I hung up the phone on him. It's my day off. I get 1 day off a week. He calls me up. You won a Ford pickup truck. I hang up the phone. Next day I go to work. He goes, no, I'm serious. So I actually won a Ford pickup truck.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
That's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you weren't into that. You weren't into 6 days a week, long hours, right? I remember
9 to 9 every day.
9 to 9.
9
Yeah,
to 9.
I no offense there, but well, you're not in the business anymore. But I always dread buying cars in this country.
Yeah.
Now, not that I know how to buy cars in Europe, because actually my first car I bought was in the U.S. But it's that constant back and forth and manager and things like that. So now when I buy cars, I just call them up front and I tell them, like, I want this model, I want this. Do you got it? Okay, great. Have it ready for a test drive. And I come in, we do the test drive, and I basically say, like, I don't want this. Just I want this. Let's get it done. And I'm trying to be out of there within like a couple of hours.
You and everybody else.
And we actually accomplish it, though. We accomplish it.
I know. So I did well. I was making money. It was probably the first time in my life I've actually made a little bit of money. The downside to it is I couldn't live my life. I was there 9 to 9, 5 to 6 days a week, and I couldn't build a relationship with someone. I couldn't start a family. I couldn't hang out with my friends. I always wanted to travel because, I grew up in a foster home, so I didn't really go anywhere.
Right.
I think the first time I went somewhere was the regular army, which, they don't send you to the best places in the world.
Wow.
So I wanted to go places, but the sad part about it is I'd work 50 weeks out of the year just to get 2 weeks off. And those 2 weeks, you got to make them count because you ain't getting another 2 weeks.
Right.
So, I'm making money, but I don't have any time to do anything. So I had a talk with the owner one day of the dealership. He asked me how I was doing, and I told him what I wanted to do. I told him how much money I wanted, because the things I wanted, believe it or not, the $180,000 a year wasn't going to get it.
Right.
And I needed more time. He was willing to give me the time, not the money.
Right.
But then if I didn't do the time, I wasn't going to make any money either. So I was in a dilemma. And he told me something after 10 years that he knew all along. But of course, they're not going to tell you. He says, Aaron, you're in the wrong business.
That's a nice thing to say for the boss in a way, right? Because most
owner.
bosses would be like, oh, don't worry, work a little harder and you'll get it, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, he actually told you the truth. He was like, if that's what you want, if what you want is free time, make more than $150,000, $180,000, which is a lot of money, but you give up your life for it.
20 years
Like 9 to 9. 9 to 9 is... does not leave space. You have breakfast, you go to work, you come back, you go to sleep, basically. Or you might have one beer with somebody, and then that's it. So you was actually honest by telling you, listen, if that's what you truly want, you're in the wrong business. So what happened next?
Well, we had a great personal relationship. It was funny because, when I met the guy, I told him the truth from day one. I says, I don't have a shirt and a tie to wear. I don't have no money for that. He actually gave me money to get a shirt and tie at the store to start the job. So that was pretty big. But we had a pretty good relationship. But after that conversation, I always felt like if this is it, I'm never going to get to where I need to go. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like that. Mm-hmm. So I started looking for other things to do. And I tried a lot of different businesses. I mean,
actually, if I jump into that for a second, that's a huge insight, because I'm friends with lots of people from lots of walks of life, and for some reason, well, because of social media and things like that, when they see us travel around the world and things like that, they're like, wow, man, Jack, you're living the life and so on. So like, yeah, and we are. And that's true. We also work very hard, but we are. But one of the things that strikes me again and again is that some of the most successful people out there confide in me from all different kind of professions, right? Managers, legal, medical, whatever it is. They have confided in me is like, hey, I feel like kind of stuck. Like they feel like stuck there. They have nowhere else to go. They're reached kind of the peak of what they can reach. They reach the peak of what their income is. They're in their 40s. And nothing is going to change for the next 20 to 25 years till they reach retirement age. And while they on paper have put together the perfect American dream, like good college, good education, good family, good house, good car, they really don't want to admit it, but in a way, for what they truly want to do, partly they put their ladder onto the wrong building, in a way. Mm. They didn't accomplish, and sometimes it's not the ladder to the wrong building. They're basically like, no, I love what I do, but I didn't anticipate that it really consumes my life to the degree that it's consuming me. But I can't get out because I don't have anything else that replaces it. Yeah. Right?
Well, that was a big lesson for me in life, and I'm glad I found out about the lesson in my 20s.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people out there that picked the wrong occupation. They picked even the wrong business. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's businesses out there that will suck you and bleed you to death, and you still won't get anywhere with it. Like, you'll never make enough money with that business. Like, yeah, it's great. You can get a 5%, 10% pay raise, but, I mean, is it really going to move the needle? Is it really going to get you to really where you want to be? You know, so for me, that was like one of my biggest lessons in my life, which is, number one, pick the right vehicle. And not any vehicle, but a vehicle where I don't have to be the top person in the room to make the money. You know, a lot of businesses, they say, oh, yeah, you can make $1 million a year, but you got to be the top guy in the world to do it. You know, you don't have to. I like businesses where you don't have to be the number one guy. You could be just someone that takes action and make the money.
Like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's a key point, yeah.
Yeah, so like in the car business, I was in the top 1%, but everybody else around me was making $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, and I spent a lot of money learning a lot of things too to get to that point. So, but that was the big lesson, number one. Lesson two was I tried a lot of different businesses that weren't the right vehicles. And you know, so every time I looked at a business, after that point, I looked at what's the potential. Because if I can't, if I'm not the top guy, what's the potential I can do?
Yeah.
Because I'm probably not going to be the top guy.
I like that. Like in many businesses, if you're not one of the top 2%, you don't make any money. Like if you're not Walmart, if you're not Walmart, if you're not Target, you're Kmart. And where's Kmart now, right? You're gone, right? If you're not Amazon, if you're not whatever the other website, I can't even think of a second one after Amazon, then perhaps Walmart again, you're gone. You're not making any money because the cost of it is so high. But it's the same in many other things. So looking for a business that has huge potential and that you don't have to be the number one in the world. You just need to take action and execute it. Then you can make a beautiful living. That's a great insight. So what did you do that? So you didn't come into that. That was more than 12 years ago. What did you jump into?
Something else I did was I wanted a business I could scale. Because a lot of these businesses out there, they're very difficult to, not a lot, but well, the ones I was playing around with, they were difficult to scale. I tried about 10 different little side gigs or whatever.
Like what, for example?
Well, I was buying and selling websites or getting stuff on Craigslist for free and selling it to like the pawn store, or you know, buying and selling laptops, or buying and selling iPhones, or I mean, there's a lot of different things. But what the lesson two was, I was trading one job for another job. So I left the car business, which was a job, even though it was my own business. I was just trading it for another job.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanted a business I could scale, and I got some traction with Amazon and eBay where I was making some money, but I couldn't scale it because if you get too many bad feedback because you hire the wrong employee, they shut your account down. If, they like the product that you're selling, they can go to a manufacturer and sell it for cheaper than you.
Yeah, by the way, have you ever seen on Amazon, just for if you're listening to that, have you ever seen on those Amazon basic products? They didn't come up with them as the basic products. They have all the data. A bunch of other people were selling those products. They're like, oh, great, there's a lot of demand for that. Let us just create a cheaper version of it and sell it, and they kill everyone else's business.
They kill everyone. So it wasn't really a scalable business. So, I'm in my garage. I'm working the same 12 hours a day. I make a little bit more money, but I'm still working 12 hours a day. Like, when I wanted to go somewhere, I had to make sure I'm not getting any shipments. I can't go anywhere on surprise. Like, I can't go anywhere. I'm in this business every day, all day, and it was just like car business. So at that point, I kept searching. And, I did even house wholesaling for a while. I tried that when I was in the car business. It's hard to flip a house when you're selling cars because you can't leave. Right? So, but I like the land business because it hit my check marks. It was a business that I could make some money. I could make a lot of money. I didn't need to be the top person in the room to make the money. I didn't even need to be perfect. There's some businesses where you have to be perfect. Like, if I'm a pilot, I can't have a bad day. Like,
right. You're like, it didn't land it today, but I'll do better tomorrow. Right? No, that doesn't fly.
If I'm doing heart surgery, I can't have a bad day. Like, I don't like a business where you have to be perfect. So I like the land business because you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have a lot of skill set per se as far as like licensing. You get thousands of dollars per transaction. Now that was a game changer for me because everything I did in my business, it was $50.
How much do you make on a car sale?
Anywhere from $50 to $500.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That's all you make on a car sale.
Wow.
But just imagine on Amazon, my average profit on Amazon is $15 an item.
Yeah.
So, what I liked about the land
What's
business.
your average profit on a land deal these days?
It's right around 30 grand.
That's a little bit of a difference.
It's a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
And
you got to sell a lot of gadgets on Amazon to make those 30 grand.
A lot of units.
Yeah.
But
and a lot of cars.
Yeah. But thousands of dollars per transaction, that's something that moves the needle now.
Yeah.
That gets my attention. That's something where, if you're living check to check like I was for a while before the car business, or even up to the best years I've had, where now I could save some money. I can invest some money. I can finally get somewhere because I can make 30 grand a deal and I could do a lot of those deals. I don't have to do, it's not just the needle in the haystack kind of deal. I could do it over and over again. So for me, that was great. But then it was, okay, can I move around now? Now that was a bonus. I could do this in Venice, Italy. I could do this in Houston, Texas. I could do this in San Diego, California, and nothing will change. So I can actually move around.
You actually, when COVID hit, you actually went on a travel trip here, on a travel spree, right?
Oh, yeah. I saw old military buddies, friends from college.
You just basically booked Airbnbs and just basically left home?
Went all over. If I did it all over again, I should have probably did it with an RV. But we flew around the whole country 8 months. That's all we did. Actually probably longer than that. Probably like a year and a half kind of now I think about it. But that's all we did was we moved around and it was great. We saw a lot of national parks. The kids had fun. They really weren't paying attention to school anyways. I don't know if any of you guys have homeschooled your kid during COVID, but that's very difficult.
Yeah.
So, but it gave me that mobility where I didn't feel like I was stuck in a car dealership or stuck in my garage packing boxes gave me that mobility where I can move. But the biggest thing was I can get, the one thing is to learn how to buy and sell some land. The better skill, a great skill, is get other people to buy and sell the land for you.
Right.
So when you get to that point, now I can say, okay, I can get my life back. And
you could have done that with the Amazon business, but you would have had to first reach such a tremendous volume before you can actually afford to bring somebody in, because at $15 an item, you basically have to sell something like 200 items a month before you, or more than that, before you can actually, and that's not even shipping cost included, before you can actually even start bringing somebody in, and then that person eats up your entire profits, and then you got to double that before you make money again, and so on.
Well, it's really more of getting your account shut down.
Okay,
because if that employee puts the wrong sticker on the wrong sneaker,
right,
and it's a blue sneaker, and they bought a white sneaker because they put that wrong sticker, now you get a bad remark.
Right.
And if you have an employee that doesn't care, which there are employees out there that don't care,
right,
my account being shut down, now I go from making money to zero.
Right.
I can't come back from it.
That's right.
Now what do you do? That was like, every day you wake up, you're like, I hope I don't have to email. That's like the big thing in the Amazon community. I hope I don't get the email today. I hope everything's perfect. And, it's never perfect.
Yeah, this is email. Like Amazon businesses are almost like a little bit like in principle, from the feeling of it, it's a little bit more like the network marketing business. Not at all from a principle, but from a feeling that you're running your own business, but you're really depending on a bigger company. Like I had a friend one time that ran a network marketing company with some beauty products and natural and health products and stuff like that. That blew up. It became like a $100 million company. According to him, he was making baseball money, basically like baseball players, like $20 million or $15 million, I think, like great, huge paydays. And then his chief engineer was interviewed on something on a YouTube video, and he went off the rails. And he went completely off the rails, and that video went viral, and the company never recovered from that one video, and everything went down the drain. Now, here's the thing. As an entrepreneur, that's your risk, right? But what I'm talking about is all the people in the network marketing industry, they were successfully selling that product and successfully building their networks and building their teams and building their things there. They all crashed with it just because the company that they had no influence over screwed up and crashed. So here it's kind of the similar thing. You're building something, and every day you wake up and you're like, hopefully I don't get that email.
So you gotta pray every day, because you hang out with other Amazon sellers, and they get the call. Well, they don't get. There's no phone calls. You get the email, and then they're shut down for a month or two until they can prove their case. Now, even if they're in the right, they have to prove their case, and they still get shut down, and finally they get back up. But I didn't want a business that controlled me. I wanted to have a business where I could do it on my own terms. And, it's hard to have a business that relies around other businesses, where there's one option. Like the land business, we do direct mail, but you could do cold calling, you could do texting, you could do other marketing things. When you're selling, you could sell on one website, but if they go out of business, there's other websites. There's multiple ways to buy stuff and sell stuff. Like, you're not reliant on that one thing, because your whole business, like, oh, I hope they don't go out of business.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I look at because of what I went through.
Yeah.
Were
you ever shut down on Amazon?
Never, believe it or not.
Yeah, good.
But I had a lot of friends that were shut down.
Yeah.
And could you imagine spending, every month thousands of dollars on inventory? Just gets shut down. Now it's in your garage. Now what do you do?
Yeah,
exactly. And they still charge you storage fees for all that inventory, whether you're shut down or not.
Yeah.
But the land business, it checked those boxes off. Also, scalability. If an employee messes up, okay, so I went from 30,000 to maybe 29 because maybe they paid too much for something. Maybe they sold it too cheap. Maybe there's a problem with the attorney and we had to give the buyer some money. you could still stay profitable and keep moving without it killing your whole business at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I liked.
Wonderful, beautiful. So you came across us somehow. You got. How did you come across us? You remember?
Believe it or not,
12 years ago.
because I sold stuff on eBay. So somebody was selling your course on eBay.
All right. Well, our course is now online, guys. So if you see somebody is selling you CDs or so on eBay, like please don't buy them because they're outdated. The last time we actually had CDs was in 2015. So this is 9-year-old stuff where the base strategy works the same, but everything about it, how we go about it, the websites we use, the strategies we use to sell the properties, the strategies we use to really around everything. The base strategy is the same, but everything else has changed since then.
Well, and the thing is eBay, they sell land. And I'm like...
Yeah, I sold like 300 properties on eBay, but doesn't work that well anymore.
Well, I started seeing people sell on eBay, $500, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 lots. And then I said, this got to be a scam. But then I would look up their ratings. They'd have perfect ratings. So I'm like, well, if they have perfect ratings, ratings is everything in the online world. I went to the county website, started researching. All these people are consistently buying lots for $500, $1,000, $800.
You probably researched us because we were one of the big land players on eBay for several years before it really tipped into and then didn't work that well anymore. So, but that's a good thing.
But that's how
then one channel doesn't work anymore, but there's 5 new channels that open up in the meantime that you can sell your land to.
Yeah, so, but that's how I found out about it, because I'm saying to myself, I already sell on eBay. Let me try to buy something, sell on eBay. But I came across the course that way because somebody was selling your course on there. But the cool thing is I sold my first few properties on eBay like that, which was great. So that's how I came across the whole business. 2012 was my first completed deal. So I can't believe I'm still doing this in 2024.
Yeah, well, that means there's something of what you said. Those items, they stuck with you because again, if the fundamentals of a business are solid, and they meet everything that is important to you, then it's easy to stick with a business. It's like I was using in my presentations. I always use the example of the Subway franchise store. That based on when I heard that, it shocked me that the average Subway franchise store costs between I think $250,000 and $400,000, depending on location. The smaller ones is cheaper, bigger ones is more expensive. Between the cost of the franchise fee, the training, and then actually the build out of the store is one of the biggest pieces. So you build out the store, they have all their same chairs and the same thing. They all look the same. That stuff is expensive. And on top of it, building it out takes 6 months. So you have to sign the lease like 8 months before you even open the doors. They build it out. You pay rent every month. And then the key is then it's not a hands-off business. It's not a business that you can go take to San Diego or to Florida or to things with you. Somebody's got to open the door in the morning. Somebody's got to close the door in the evening. Somebody's got to make sure that the cash register is correct, right? Somebody's got to make sure that accounting is correct. Somebody's got to make sure that when somebody quits and no person gets hired, somebody's got to make sure that the schedule of employees and shifts and stuff is working. Somebody makes sure that you don't run out of salami and out of bread and out of all these kind of things. Somebody's got to make sure everything is working, everything is clean, and so on and so forth. And guess who that somebody is? Franchise owner, because it's not the Subway store doesn't have 25 employees. You don't have the money to hire a general manager. You don't have the money to hire an accountant. You don't have the money to hire bookkeeping. You don't have the money to hire an operations manager or something like that. So it's the owner who now works even harder than they worked before, just dump their life savings into a franchise model. Yes, franchise have a 91% success rate, but at what price, right? The price for it is that they're working now 14-hour days, and at the end of the day, at least until they paid off their loan, which takes years and years and years to do, they make an average of $67,000 a year as a Subway franchise owner after all of that is said and done. And that can't be the answer, but that's what everyone does.
Well, so one of my good friends owns a restaurant. I eat breakfast there all the time, and he's owned this restaurant 20 years. He says, Aaron, would you like to buy my restaurant? I says, I guess so. I'll look into it. I says, how much do you make? He says, "Oh, I think I make about $100,000 a year with this restaurant." I go, "How much do you make?" "No, the restaurant makes $100,000 a year." So I said, "How much do you want for the restaurant?" He goes, "I don't know, $200,000 a year." So if I gave you 200, would I still make the 100? No, because I have to pay you to run it. I'm not going to be there. But I couldn't even pay for the restaurant.
So he doesn't make a salary. A restaurant makes $100,000 and that's his salary.
Yeah, that's his salary. But he wants
the moment that you hire a manager
him
for $100,000, you have a restaurant that makes no money.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's one of those businesses that suck you and bleed you to death. Like, obviously you could probably figure it out and turn it around, maybe. But this guy's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah,
and he works here 7 days a week.
Yeah,
and to me, it's like job for another job.
Yeah,
you're not really getting anywhere there.
Right. So let's fast forward to today's life.
Yeah.
So today you have shut down your eBay and Amazon business.
I sold it.
You sold it. Okay,
sold
good
the
for
account.
you.
Believe it or not, it's still worth something.
All right.
All those ratings.
All right, very good, very good. Well, that's just kudos to you. It just shows that you're a man of integrity, a man of honor, a man that does things the right way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have kept the ratings up high. And obviously, we know that from working with you for many years now. You're full time in land flipping. You actually eventually joined our coaching program, went through our coaching program, then sold all these businesses, and you're doing land full time. If we can tell it full time, right? Full time, I mean you don't do anything else. Mainly for your income, this is your main income.
No. So 2012, I did my first couple of deals, but I had a lot of questions and not really a lot of people to ask. 2013, I did 2 or 3 more deals. 2014, I did a deal where I made like $50,000. And I'm like, I had to focus on this a little bit more because everything I'm doing, I had a lady that called me from a letter she got 3 years prior, and she accepted my offer of $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it was. And I sold that property for about $50,000. But what had happened was 3-4 years went by and the value went up significantly. So that's what caught my attention. That's what I says, you know what? I treated it like a hobby for a couple of years, 2-3 years. In those 2-3 deals I did okay. But it was that $50,000 paycheck that got my attention. So at that point, I said, all right, let's get serious with this. Let's do coaching. Let me focus on this thing. So 2017 was like my full focus. I didn't even do any more Amazon, eBay. Whatever I had, I let it sell out. So that's the first year I did like 35 deals. That's the first year where I got into the coaching program because I says, let me just sit down and let me just focus on this. All these lingering questions I had over the years, I had someone to ask. All the problems I was going through, I had someone to talk to about it. So that's the first year I really, really got serious with the business. And I ended Amazon, eBay for good.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the first year.
And so now that's fantastic. So congratulations. So now, again, if we fast forward to today, how many hours a week do you work right now?
I'm down to about 10.
10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Right. That's not a full-time job, right? And how come when you do 30 to 50 deals a year? So on average, let's say like 2 deals a month, right?
I hate to say it, but I think I spend more time coaching than I do on my business. You might want to edit that out. But it's 10 hours a week. If you don't have to go to a closing and you don't have to meet buyers and sellers and someone's answering the phone and someone's doing the paperwork and someone's selling the properties, what else am I going to do? Right?
That sounds like a great problem to have.
What else are you going to do? Which is great, but at the end of the time, that's one of the reasons why I decided to do coaching, because I had so much spare time. So I didn't mind helping other people replicate the same model.
Yeah, and I think we reached out to you, or you reached out to us. I don't remember. We saw you doing great. You saw you helping out in the Facebook groups and so on, and being always quick to answer questions and being a real giver and go-giver. So we were like, hey, Aaron, we're expanding. We're looking for another coach that, while maintaining your full-time business, has a little time to actually contribute to helping the next generation of students coming up. And you graciously agreed. And I sometimes have the feeling you spend giving this now that you work basically a day, an hour and a half in your business a day. You probably spend more time coaching than you even spend in your business because you have it so automated.
But I enjoy it. It's not because it's just something I enjoy. It's just like anything else. It's just like if you enjoy traveling, you don't mind traveling. You just enjoy it and you just do it. So I enjoy taking someone from here and bringing them to here. It's a fulfilling kind of thing. It's just, it's a great feeling.
And you have taken a ton of people to a ton of success. I mean, I just can think of Tara and Anila.
Yeah.
Right? They, two of our students, a dentist and an engineer.
Amazon exec.
Amazon what?
She was an Amazon exec. Tara was an Amazon executive.
Okay. Yeah.
Anila was a full-time, had her own dentist business.
Practice.
And she was done looking at people's teeth.
Right, that's right. And you brought them to, with your help, they did almost $1 million in the first year.
Yeah,
right?
they grossed $1.2 million. They netted just under $1 million.
Which, by the way, guys, just want to make sure you guys understand, that is not the norm, okay? I'm not going to make promises here that you're going to make $1 million in the first year. Having said that, Tara and Anila are not the only ones that pushed that limit. Tara and Anila are not the only ones that got there or almost there. Like, that means it's possible. But they also were willing to put the effort in, put in the time in, put in the budget in, and so on, in order to get there. There's plenty, though, of students that have taken it to the high five figures or to the almost really should everyone really that's serious about it should make that, but into the low into the 100, 150, 200, $250,000 kind of level in the first year, and that's a beautiful thing too because most house flippers don't do that. So let's talk into how you structure your business such that you it's going to specifics here. How do you structure your business that you only work an hour and a half a day on it, or like a couple of hours a day, 5 days a week? Because you mentioned something, you have this person do that.
Yeah.
So do you have like this huge team around you?
No.
Or what does that mean?
I have 7 or 8 salespeople.
Now, are they full-time salespeople with you, or what are they?
They're real estate agents.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Do you call them salespeople? We call them real estate agents. So you don't have them on salary.
And that's the best employee I like. I get a check when you get a check, or you get a check when I get a check.
That's right.
Who would not want a business where they got a check for performance and then I pay you?
So in your particular business, you really have realized that you really mastered leveraging real estate agents. So because a lot of people say like, no, I don't want to sell to a real estate agent. I want to keep all the money and things like that. Well, it comes at the price of you doing all the work again and you doing more, spending more time. You're basically saying like, I don't want to spend much time on the business. What do you spend your time on?
I spend my time on signing, closing paperwork.
Okay.
I spend my time on picking areas, which is usually spent when I'm at the airport and I'm going somewhere, or I'm at a doctor's office and I'm waiting. I bring my laptop with me because my 12-year-old, we spend a lot of time together. She wants me to take her here, there. I don't have a lot of time. So I usually do it when I'm waiting, when she's at karate practice. I take up my laptop. I look around for different areas. I look around for different price points. But that's usually what I'm doing.
Right there is a little gem for everyone to pay attention to, because I think Tony Robbins called it one time net time, no extra time. Which means that you do that while you do other things. Ideally not driving, right? But outside of driving, if you're waiting outside of karate class, and you're sitting there, bring up the laptop.
Practice.
You can be on social media and waste your time in TikTok and Instagram, or you can actually go bring up your laptop and actually do something, bring your business forward in that hour that your daughter is in class. Beautiful, right? So then you do county selection yourself, so do new area selection, pick new areas, get new leads and so on. Then obviously you send out the leads by using a mailing house.
I'm a big direct mail guy.
Direct mail guy? Okay.
I mean, I've played around with other marketing medias, and I've gotten deals from other marketing medias, but I think the best quality lead is the mail. That's just my opinion.
Okay, so you do direct mail. Of course, a mailing house sends that out for you.
Absolutely.
Then when people contact you back, who talks to them?
I have an answering service that talks to them.
Wonderful. So that they take care of that. Then who identifies what these properties are worth and what to offer on them?
That's what the virtual assistant does.
Okay, so how many of those do you have?
I got 2 of them.
All right. So you have 2 virtual assistants. Yeah. They get paid a monthly salary or just simply by the hour?
No, they get paid by the hour.
By the hour, but on a flat fee kind of.
It's $800 a month.
Okay, so $800 a month per virtual assistant, $1,600 a month expenses. Yeah. Okay, and then once you have those deals under contract.
Well, when I get a deal on the contract, I transition the realtors where they're actually talking to buyers and sellers.
Okay,
and then that's something you have to build in a relationship. After you sell maybe 10 or 15 deals with a realtor, 20 deals. I've transitioned them where I'm like, will you sell outside your area? Because they're programmed to just sell in the area where they can drive. So then you got to train them to sell outside the area. Then you can transition them and say, hey, how would you like to make more money? They say yes. How would you like to talk to my sellers? And I'll give you X amount more above the commission. So then,
if you convince them to sign the deal with you and get the deal in. So basically, you're turning your realtors. This is really cool. You're turning your realtors into acquisition managers.
Yeah. So, but the cool thing about it is they're the point of contact, not me.
Right.
Because see, if I'm the point of contact, then I got that people driving me crazy all the time. Hey, what's going on? Are we closing this, that? No, they're not contacting me. They contact the realtor. The realtor is in all those phone calls with the title company. I don't have to have all those phone calls. They can have all those phone calls.
That's a brilliant model, man. That's a brilliant model. You're taking our model and really put it into a hyper virtualization where you're now utilizing the realtors that you don't even pay a salary for to basically do half of the work for you. They talk to the sellers, they get the deals locked in. Then the sellers, if they're worried, call the realtors. The title companies call the realtors, and of course the realtors look for buyers. They talk to the buyers, get the buyers locked in, then talk to the buyer's agent or talk to the buyers through the process, close the deal, and you enjoy your life in the process.
What I like about the realtors is I like the ones that have transactional coordinators. Mm-hmm. So then I can leverage what they got going on already.
Right.
So they can be in touch with everybody. I like the realtors that are marketing on all these websites. So then I don't really have to pay for those websites.
Right. So, for example, land.com, right?
Yeah, land.com's a very...
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, land.com is one of our strategic partners. They're sponsors at our live events. They come, they get lots of business. We always recommend them. We do not get a kickback from them when people... they're just sponsors of our company, but of our events more than anything. But land.com is the 800-pound gorilla of the land market, but they're not cheap. They cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month.
So I like utilizing their resources and their contacts. For instance, I had one problem where we needed a survey on a property, and in this marketplace, it takes 6 months to get a survey. But the realtor's been in the business for 30 years. So his brother-in-law goes out over the weekend and gets it done. Mm-hmm. Because they have a 30-year relationship that I'll never be able to replicate. Right. They've been doing it for so long. So I look at beyond the commission. I look at resources that they give in, context that they have, and I like to give them like a little allowance, meaning if you get $1,000 allowance. So don't call me if it's under $1,000. Just do it. And then the title company, don't call me if it's $1,000. Then you get them both together. If you don't spend your $1,000, you spend your $1,000, then you got $2,000 problem. So now when you're at the buyer's at the closing table and they have an issue, they can solve that issue and I don't have to get a phone call. If there's clearing of trees that are needed, they can go do it and I just get the bill in the mail. I don't know what it's going to be for, but they usually send it to me, I pay it, and we just move on. So doing those little tweaks.
You ask the occasional question, what is that for? Yeah.
Well, they give me stories, but sometimes I'm like, it's kind of shady. But I'd rather pay than deal with all the phone calls.
Okay.
That's just me, because my phone rings all the time. Hey, he wants another $100 or he's not doing the deal. Why are you calling me? Just do the deal.
Yeah.
We're making 30 grand on a deal. Do the deal.
Yeah, because you give him the allowance.
You give them the allowance, and you put them on a 3-way call, and you just let the people do what they do best.
Very cool.
Because they don't want to deal with you. They want to do what they do, which is real estate.
And in that model, with that kind of attitude, and with those systems, and with those extra little allowances, you created a model where you do, for let's say just a deal a week, roughly speaking, and you make $30,000 a deal. You can do the math at home of what that means. You're making the money that you finally were looking to make. You're working with that only to an hour, 2 hours a day on your business, and you can port your business anywhere you want it to go. Boom. So what's next for Aaron Williams?
Here's what's next. Rhode Island, I'm in Phoenix. I got a mobile notary coming in a few minutes.
That's right. That's right. As a matter of fact, that's true.
Doesn't change.
Yeah, like literally, like Aaron
coming.
flew in from Rhode Island, came in last night, walked into our studio here, and he's like, "Hey, we got to be done by that time because I got a mobile notary coming into the door because I'm selling a deal. How much are you making on that deal?"
Oh, this one's on the shy. This is on the low end. I don't even want to tell you. It's embarrassing, but there was a few issues with this deal, but we're still making a few grand.
Okay, that's not bad.
So it's a little embarrassing.
Hey, every once in a while there comes a deal. I always tell people, like, no, don't take 30 grand as your standard. Like, it took you a while to get to 30 grand per deal. Mm-hmm. Take 10 grand, 15 grand a deal as your standard. And then over the years, but as you master one level, you go to the next level. Typically, from year to year to year, the number of deals goes up by 50 to 100% that people can handle, and the margins, the amount that they make, go up by 50 to 100%. So if the first year you do 20 deals at $7,500 at $10,000 a deal, you make $200,000. The second year you make 30 deals at $15,000 a deal. That's $450,000. And the third year you do 50 deals at $20,000. That's $1 million. But right there, is anyone mad? Like when you coach now, when you have coaching students, are your coaching students mad if they only make 10 grand on a deal in the first few deals?
No, because you tell them it's experience.
Yeah.
If you want to make more, you can adjust it. You can always adjust it. It's just like anything else. Someone once told me the reason why a lion doesn't go after what's the smaller one? Maybe the smaller one. The reason why a lion doesn't go after a small animal like maybe a rabbit is because the energy that the lion's going to spend getting that rabbit isn't worth it. They're not going to get it back.
Right.
So you don't have to chase $10,000 deals. You can chase the $50,000 deals. You can chase the $100,000 deals. I mean, people chase whatever they want to chase. And
it's actually not chasing, but it's like a structured organizational approach to get them. Like, for example, one of our other master coaches, as we call him, Michelle Brown, and actually your co-head coach, Stephen Young, both focus on those $50,000 plus kind of deals. Yeah.
So there's two ways to do it. I've seen a lot of students. Some people go after the volume. Some people go after the deal size. Some people go after a hybrid of both. I just prefer the less is more kind of thing. So I want to work my way up to the larger deals. So
you do 30 to 50 deals at an average of like $30K a deal. And I mean, anyone can do the math. If not, pull out your calculator. Calculate it. Very good. Congratulations. So fantastic, Aaron. So you're actually obviously one of our two head coaches right now. We have 15 coaches in our organization. You and Stephen Young, you're leading up our group of coaches. And as a matter of fact, you're going to headline and host one of our upcoming fast track challenges, as we call it. So by the way, guys, if you want to register for that, because I mean, who is excited about that wealth of knowledge right now? 500 deals. Organize it in a way that you leverage the realtors, organize it in a way that you leverage technology. We're running out of time. We might need to do a second or third session out of this where we talk about how you're using AI in your business, which is really amazing. And and how we are now using it in our company for our students, and how you teach our students to do this. And so you're going to host the Fast Track Challenge, which again, you guys can register under landflipping.com. So simply go to www.landflipping.com and register for it's coming up in a few days or a few weeks, depending on when you watch this. And yeah, this is exciting. So you're taking a more of a front stage kind of role in our company, because again, I mean, you're probably, if not then one of the most successful coaches in our company, bringing tons of people to $100,000, $200,000, even $1 million profits. You yourself have created a bunch of millionaires already in your capacity as coach. You're leading by example with your deals, with your really brilliant way of outsourcing and automating and leveraging other people's time and expertise for your business, so you can actually live that life that really everyone wants to live. Because at the end of the day, what's the life people want to live? If I ask people if they could do what they love in a couple of hours a day, and live and travel and take their business wherever they want to go, and live the life with their family, and you spent a lot of time with your 12-year-old. I spent a lot of time with my 16-year-old for the exact same reason, because nobody dies and on their deathbed says, like, I wish I would have spent more time in the office. You created the perfect business, leverage it the right way, design it the right way, and I can't wait to have you host that session, and I can't wait for you guys to watch him perform like that. So with that said, guys, that concludes our episode of the Jack Bosch Show. Big round of applause for Aaron Williams, master land flipper, master coach, head coach, and host of the Land Fast Track Challenge, coming up in just a few days. Again, go to landflipping.com and register for it. It's 100% free. It's for 3 days, 1 hour a day, 1 hour to an hour and a half a day, for just 3 days. Aaron and his co-hosts are going to walk you through exactly what it takes to succeed with this business, to build the kind of business that Aaron is building. So see you there. And in the meantime, give us that 5-star review, give us that thumbs up, give us that subscribe, hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, because land flipping is the simpler way and the better way of real estate investing, where you can actually make your dreams come true. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron.